All right, ninjas, so let's go ahead and take a look at an informative writing prompt. And let's walk through the steps that you would take to plan that informative writing prompt. So on your screen, you can see the prompt that we have for this week that we're going to walk through step by step. I'm going to go ahead and read it out loud, so follow along as I read out loud. Your family would like to be prepared in case a hurricane makes landfall in your area. Write an essay for your family in which you explain how to best prepare for a hurricane. Use information from the passage in your essay. Manage your time carefully so that you can read the passages, plan your response, write your response, and revise and edit your response. Be sure to include an introduction, information from the passages as support, and a conclusion that is related to the information presented. Your response should be in the form of a multi-paragraph essay. Write your response in the space provided. So as you guys can see, this prompt is set up very similar to our opinion prompt. So it's very, very similar in what we need to have in our essay. You know, we both are reading passages to help us answer prompts and to write our essays. We have to plan both an opinion and an informative response. We also have to edit and revise, any type of essay that we write. And just like we had in an opinion, you have an introduction, information from the passages, and a conclusion. So it's very similar to an opinion prompt. There's just a couple things that are slightly different. So let's go ahead and take a look at how are we going to know if we're writing an opinion prompt, we're writing an opinion essay based on the prompt, or we're going to be writing an informative essay. So as you can see in the prompt, the top part, which gives us our topic that we're going to be writing about, it says write an essay to your family in which you explain how to. So we're going to be explaining how to do something. Those keywords are letting us know that it's an informative writing prompt. Because when we write informative essays or informative writing pieces, we're informing or explaining something to somebody. Whereas in an opinion writing piece, you're giving your opinion or your viewpoint. So those keywords are telling us that we're going to be writing an informative essay. Now the topic of our essay, so what are we going to be explaining to people? We're going to be explaining how to best prepare for a hurricane. So this is helping us to this is helping us to understand that we're going to be informing people and our family, based on the prompt, of how to best prepare for a hurricane. So this prompt is very similar to our opinion prompts. You've seen these before and you've written essays based on them. But this just has a little bit of wording, which is going to let us know, I need to plan for an informative writing piece, not an opinion writing piece. So as part of your previous work in this module, you were given 3 different articles to read. Those articles were written about hurricanes and how to prepare for them. So you have some really good information from those 3 articles to help you answer your prompt. So we know we're writing an informative essay, and we know we're going to be writing about how to prepare for a hurricane. Now, as we spoke about earlier, when we plan for an informative writing piece, it's going to be similar to how we plan for an opinion writing piece, but we're going to use a little bit different way of planning for it. So as you can see here, this looks very similar to your Oreo graphic organizer, but this does not have opinions, reasons in it. There's no opinions or reasons, because when you're writing an informative writing piece, you're using facts and details. So you're going to be using details from your own knowledge about the topic, as well as facts and information from the passages. So this organizer is set very similar to your Oreo organizer with its requirements. There's just going to be one small difference with this organizer. So let's dive into it and talk about how it's a little bit different. So the very first box, you're going to put in a grabber and a hook Okay, so you're going to grab your reader's attention. You're going to want to have one of those, as well as a topic sentence that explains what your essay will be explaining. So you're going to need a topic sentence in there that's going to show what is the topic of my essay. So when we wrote opinion writing, we spoke about the grabber and hooks. So you guys have done that before. But instead of an opinion sentence, you're going to be doing a topic sentence. And we're going to look a little bit later on of how do we write a topic sentence. Then you'll notice you have 3 sections that say detail. So you're going to find 3 details that will help you to explain your topic. So you're going to look for 3 details that are going to help you explain the topic that you're writing about. Now, this is similar because when we wrote an opinion writing piece, we had 3 reasons to help us explain our opinion. And when you're writing an informative writing piece, you're going to have 3 details to support your topic. So it's very similar in the way these organizers are set up, but instead of giving reasons and opinions, we're giving details and facts. And just like in your opinion writing, you're going to need evidence. So you're going to need evidence from the text as well as evidence from your own mind to help you. So you're going to want to have evidence from both of those to help you. So that is something that you have been practicing as well. And the very last section of your organizer for an informative writing is your concluding paragraph. This box on the organizer is going to help you write your concluding paragraph. So you're going to restate your topic and leave your reader with a thought or question. That's what you want to put down in this bottom organizer. And if you can complete all of the spots fully on this organizer, it's going to help you to write your essay easier. You're going to have all the information you need to write your essay, and you're not going to have to struggle trying to pull all this information together as you're writing. So that's why we want to try and use these organizers to help us plan so we're prepared to write our essay, and it makes your essay writing a lot easier. So coming back to our prompt, after reading the 3 articles that you were given, your job is going to be to write an informative essay in which you explain how to best prepare for a hurricane. So we're going to talk about what a completed organizer would look like. And you can complete your organizer as we go through this. You can complete your organizer that you were asked to print out before watching this video that can help you to put your details and evidence in as we go through it. And you're always more than welcome to pause this video at any time so you can write in any of your thoughts in your organizer. So the very first box, which we spoke about, is a grabber hook to grab your reader's attention and a topic sentence that explains the topic of your essay. So as you can see, I have filled out that very first top of that organizer. So the grabber that I have chosen is as follows. Imagine winds that can tear the roof off a house and a storm surge that can come up to the top of a doorway. These are just some of the effects a hurricane can have on us. So as you can see, I wrote something kind of shocking to try and catch my reader's attention and make them want to read my essay. And the other thing you need is a topic sentence. You want to explain to your reader what your essay is going to be about. So my topic sentence is, hurricanes are very dangerous storms, and we need to be as prepared as we can be if one ever comes our way, because we're writing an essay on how to prepare for a hurricane. So my topic sentence is letting my reader know we're going to be talking about how to prepare for a hurricane. The next sections on your organizer that you will want to fill out are the details. You need 3 details to support how do you prepare for a hurricane. I want to find 3 details. And as you can see, I've listed 3 details here. My first detail, the first thing that you want to do to prepare for a hurricane is a hurricane kit. It can help you prepare for a hurricane. You'll have everything that you need during the storm and for the days to follow. So my first detail that I'm going to explain is going to be a hurricane kit. What is it and what do I need to put in it? My second detail that is going to help me explain how to prepare for a hurricane is that we will need to prepare our home and yard for a hurricane in many ways that we wouldn't even think of. So for detail number 2, which will be my second middle paragraph, I'm going to be explaining how to get my house and my yard ready for a hurricane. And detail number 3, which is the third middle paragraph, I'm going to explain if we have to evacuate, we'll need a plan in place to ensure we are prepared. So I'm going to be explaining what we need to do in case we need to evacuate our homes before the hurricane comes so that we can be as safe as possible. So those are the 3 details that are going to help me explain how to prepare for a hurricane. Now, in your organizer, the next thing that you're going to need is evidence for each of those details. So you're going to want to explain each of those details. We want to explain each of them fully so that our reader knows how to prepare in each of those ways. So my first detail was a hurricane kit. Well, I need to explain to my reader, like, what is a hurricane kit and how do I get it ready? You know, how does it help me for a hurricane? So I've put both evidence from my mind and evidence from the text into my organizer. So from my mind, I wrote, during a hurricane and the days that follow, you may not have power, water, or a way to leave your house. You will need a kit to help you survive these days. Without this kit, life during and after the storm would be very challenging and dangerous. So I've explained a little bit about why you need this kit, and I'm going to go into what needs to go into the kit. And I learned what needs to go into a hurricane kit from source number 3. So I put evidence from source number 3. I said source 3 explains that your kit should have water, non-perishable foods, light sources, first aid kit, and a radio. So this evidence is going to help me write my first middle paragraph. I'm going to use these details, this detail and these evidence pieces, and to help me explain what a hurricane kit is and why we need one to be prepared for a hurricane. So that's detail number 1. Detail number 2, which I am going to explain how to prepare your home and yard during a hurricane. So again, I've put some details from my head. So I have a trampoline in my yard along with other toys, and that will need to be put away because I read in the article about the winds throwing things around in your yard. So I'm connecting to what I have in my yard, and I know my trampoline needs to be put away. I don't want that being thrown into my house. The second thing from my mind is I put hurricanes can cause damages to our homes and yards in ways we never thought of. We have so many things in our yards that could harm our house or even us if we were inside of the storm. Because we know, like, if something gets thrown through your window, then rain and wind's going to come through, or it might even hit you, and you don't want that to happen. So those were 2 of my own thoughts. Now I have 2 pieces of evidence from the text. So I pulled 2 pieces of evidence from the text, and it was source number 2, which was what talked about preparing your house and your yard during the hurricane. So source number 2 explains that in 1992, a hurricane damaged over 162,000 homes, and there are things that we can do to help keep the damage to our homes as low as possible. So that's a shocking fact, and I thought that would be something for my reader. Like, let me shock them and tell them why it's important to prepare our home and our yard. And then I have another piece of evidence from source number 2. And I put down here, source number 2 also explains that we will want to cover our windows with shutters or wood. Pick up any items in our yards that could be picked up by wind and thrown at our house, and put sandbags at the entrances of our house to prevent flood damage. So I have another piece of evidence from the text that explains what we need to do to prepare our homes and yards. Then we have detail number 3. This is where I'm going to talk about if you need to evacuate, how do you prepare to evacuate for the hurricane? So I put some information from my mind. Many people are told or volunteer to evacuate to leave their homes during a hurricane. This way, they can make sure they are safe. So source number 1 states something else you can do is fill up your gas tank ahead of time. That's straight from source number 1. It tells you that. That's something you need to do if you're going to evacuate, because if you don't have gas, you're not going to go anywhere. And source number 1 also explains that you'll want to know ahead of time where you will evacuate and how to get there. It is also a great idea to have an evacuation kit ready with anything that you need. And we already spoke about evacuation kits, so my reader already knows what that is and what needs to go into a hurricane kit. So those would be my details for my third middle paragraph. And as you can see, I've done a lot of the hard work already. I have my details, so when I go to write my essay, it's going to be pretty easy. I already have a head start on writing it. And then the very last portion of your organizer is the conclusion box. This is where you're going to restate your topic and leave your reader with a thought or a question. So I've restated the topic. What am I explaining in my informative essay? As you can see, there are many things that we need to do to prepare for a hurricane if it is ever heading our way. I've let my reader know, you just learned how to prepare for a hurricane. That was what I was wanting to explain to them. And then I've left them with a thought to think about. The next time we have a named storm heading our way, let's be sure to follow these steps so we can be prepared as possible. So now my reader's going to be like, oh, do I live where there's hurricanes? Maybe I need to remember this information if it ever comes my way. So I've added 2 of those requirements to my organizer. So they're all there and ready to go. So as you can see, the organizer is completely filled out. Our topic grabber box, that's what's going to help you write your first paragraph. Your detail number 1 with evidence is going to help you write your second paragraph. Detail number 2 will help you write your third paragraph. Detail number 4 will help you write your fourth paragraph. And detail number 5, the conclusion box, sorry, not detail number 5, the conclusion box will help you write paragraph number 5. If you can fill out your organizer like this ahead of time, it's going to take writing your essay, it's going to be a piece of cake. So if you can remember what goes in each parts of this organizer, and you'll have that checklist in your lessons to help guide you, print it off. Put it next to you when you're planning, and that will really help you to plan for your informative writing. All right, guys. So remember, today we talked about how to organize and plan for an informative writing piece. Think about where you are on the scale. If you need help with any of this, reach out to me. But if not, go ahead and make sure that you have a nice, complete, organized, informative writing plan, and then later this week you're going to be writing your informative essays piece by piece. Have a great day.